Alright guys, everyone should have their map out. We are doing India and the Silk Road today. We are also going to have time to start our notes. So we are going to do it. Now this week's content I think is really interesting. It's one of the more interesting weeks that you have no background information on. Typically with Rome, Greece, maybe even the Persians you have a little bit of background knowledge on. This stuff you typically have zero background knowledge on, so I think it's really interesting. We'll get there though. Not Miss Patel though, not Miss Patel. Alright, here we go. So I'm going to start on the India side. This map is very simple compared to the other ones, so that's good. Alright, so here we go. We're going to label Burma, which is right over here. Then you have the Indus River, and then you have the Yangtze. Then you have the Himalayas. What are the Himalayas? Yes, it's a mountain range. Then you have the Hindu Kush. What are the Hindu Kush? There you go. Okay, you have the Arabian Sea. You have the Bay of Bengal. Way over here, make sure you are paying attention because this is a little tricky. This is your Black Sea. This is your Med Sea. And this is your Caspian. And that is all you need to label, which is nice. And you need 2 boxes. First one is Mauryan. Mauryan Empire. Your next one is your Gupta Empire. Alright, and that's all you need labeled on that one. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take this really ugly orange and I'm going to do the Mauryan Empire. Now the Mauryan Empire is going to be the first empire that is going to unify India. Now please listen before you get going coloring. Southern tip of India, so this part here, it doesn't get conquered and unified until period 5. We're in period 2. It does not get conquered. Do not color in the tip of India. Okay, it's not going to be conquered until the British come in. So, the Mauryan Empire is going to have everything except the southern tip, all the way up to the Hindu Kush, all the way down and around. There you go. So you can color everything inside that. Do not color the southern tip of India. Okay, so here is the Mauryan Empire. It is going to be started by Chandragupta Maurya. It is the first empire that is going to unify India. Now, the Mauryan Empire is going to start after Alexander the Great dies. Once he dies, remember how there's a huge jostle in power? People are trying to figure out who's going to lead all this territory left behind. Well, Chandragupta is going to rise into power. Now, keep in mind that Alexander the Great is going to quit conquering territory where in the world? India. So when he gets to India, his troops mutiny, and power falls, and eventually he will die about 1.5 years after that. And Chandragupta is going to rise into power. He's going to create the first unified country, empire in India. He's also going to be the foundation of Indian government. He's going to write a book, and it's going to be the foundation. The cool thing about Chandragupta Maurya is that he is going to come into power and then give it all away to become a monk. So that's pretty cool. You don't hear many people doing that. Alright, so the Mauryan Empire is going to rise and it's going to fall because of tax issues. And then the Gupta Empire is going to raise. In my map, it's going to be yellow. The Gupta Empire is going to be started by Chandragupta. And Chandragupta's empire, although it's going to be very important, it is not going to be nearly as big as the Mauryan Empire. So it is mostly going to follow along these two major rivers that have a religious significance to Hinduism. Okay, and that's all you need for your map. I'll give you a minute to finish coloring in your map. Now, the Gupta Empire is going to be started by Chandragupta. He is going to have a very decentralized government in comparison to the Mauryan Empire. The cool thing about the Gupta is they're known for their math and their science. It's the Gupta who creates zero, which is pretty cool. Now, the Mesoamericans have discovered zero, but why don't we count them here in India? Huh? They're not in India, yes, but why do we keep it so a big deal? Yeah, the Mesoamericans figured out zero, but it's not until the Gupta figure out zero. Why is that a big deal, Max?
Because they didn't spread it throughout.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you're in the Americas, you're not anywhere else. So you should be coloring in your map. You've got about 45 more seconds. You might as well get as much done in class today as you can, so you don't have to do it again. Remember, it does need to look decent. It doesn't have to be perfect. Remember to color in the tip of India green because, what's up?
Is all this water over here still the rain?
No, it's your Pacific Ocean. No, it's your Pacific Ocean, your Yellow Sea, your South China Sea. Ooh. Oh, my water is so far away. You got 10 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, flip it over. This side is much harder. You need this. Way more you need to color, I promise. Okay, here we go. This is your Indian Ocean. Your Arabian Sea. Bay of Bengal. Okay, we're going to draw in Indus River. Gangsi River. You have the Himalayas over here. Here's your Hindu Kush. Alright, right here you have the Persian Gulf. Here's your Red Sea. And here's your Med Sea. Alright. We're going to label Britain. Spain. Gaul. What is Gaul?
France.
Okay, we're going to draw a little dot and label that Rome. I'm going to draw a dot over here and label that Athens. I'm going to label this right here. We're going to label it Constantinople. Right here you have the Black Sea. Then you have the Caspian Sea. Then you have Carthage, which is right over here. Oh, and then you need 5 boxes. So you have Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, Eastern Empire, parentheses Roman. Then you have the Western Empire, which is also Roman. All right, you guys caught up? Perfect. All right, so we're going to do religion first. I'm going to do Christianity first. And Christianity is going to be a blue arrow for me. Okay, so where does Christianity start, guys?
Rome.
No, it doesn't start in Rome.
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem. So everything's going to come from here. So do the best you can. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just do the best you can. All right, so here's around Jerusalem. It's going to spread into the Arabian Peninsula. It's going to spread into Egypt. Okay, it's going to spread upwards into Anatolia. Okay, it's also going to spread this way. When it starts spreading this way, what's it spreading on? What? What is happening here? What is this theoretical road called? Silk Road. It is going to be passed along the Silk Road. It's also going to make its way into India. Why is it going to make its way into India? Does India have a lot to do with the Silk Road? Yes, there you go. All right, it's also going to start spreading outward. It's going to make its way to Athens. It's going to make its way to Rome. It's going to make its way to Gaul. And of course, it's going to make its way to Spain, which is still the best Catholic country out there. They have the largest Catholic population in the second only to the country of Italy. All right, so there is your spreading. So as we can see, it's starting from the area of the Middle East by Jerusalem. It is spreading along roads. Silk Road is spreading around trade routes, and it's of course spreading across the Mediterranean Sea. Your next major religion we're going to do is Buddhism. Buddhism for me is going to be pink. Now Buddhism is going to come out of what country? India. It comes out of India. Okay, it comes out of India as a reaction to what? People hate what in India, so they reject it. Huh? No. They hate what system is going on in India? Caste system. So that to reject the caste, they adopt Buddhism. So it's going to start in northern India, and it's going to spread this way. It's also going to spread to China. China is going to be a very Buddhist country, but it starts in India. Okay. Thailand, if you go to Thailand, there's tons of beautiful Buddhist temples, which is pretty cool. Now keep in mind, Buddhism is spread as a reaction to the caste system, and then people really, really like it. Now Buddhism is going to be the most popular religion spread by the Silk Road. Hinduism, for me, is going to be green. Hinduism is in what country? India. Now, is this going to have a huge range of spread or no? No, not a lot of people are Hindu unless you're Indian predominantly. It is going to spread a little bit to southwest, southeast Asia, but it's not going to have as major of a change. There's 3 major arrows, and that's it. So instead of being in just South Asia, it's also in Southeast Asia or Thailand. Okay? All right, so those are your three major religions. Okay, and now I'm going to color in my room. For my Eastern Empire, I'm going to use this pretty blue color. All right, so my Eastern Empire is going to be divided here. Now, what is the name of the gentleman who is going to be in charge of dividing up the Roman Empire? No, Octavian's going to be hanging out for quite some time. He's going to die a very happy man in Rome with lots and lots of power. Does everyone know who it is? No, Constantine is going to be one of the last. No, Nero's just a weirdo. It's actually a guy named Diocletian. Diocletian is going to be your last true Roman emperor, which means he has control over the full territory, or the whole thing. Well, in order to try to save the Roman Empire, he divides it in half. He takes over half the empire, and his nephew takes over the other half. Now, his nephew is going to be a complete moron, and because of that, it's going to cause a lot of issues. However, eventually, another Roman emperor, I'm using this red color, is going to come in and take over control of the Eastern. Who is the most important emperor of the Eastern Empire? Constantine, yes. Constantine is going to come in a little bit later, and he is going to control the Eastern Empire. Now, it is important to know that the Roman Empire was divided in half in order to try to save it because it was getting too expensive to run. Don't forget, there is a little bit of brain colored in here. I've just colored it in for you so you can see. It was divided in order to try to keep it safe. However, it is going to make it fall faster. Which half is going to fall faster, Eastern or Western? Western falls faster, absolutely. And it is because they are pretty isolated away from the rest of the world, and they're pretty much playing with sticks once the Roman Empire falls for quite some time. The Eastern Empire is going to be incredibly successful based off what major city? Constantinople. Constantinople is going to be the major trading city of the world. Now, take 2 seconds and look. Here is Constantinople. It is on the edge of the Asian continent and on the edge of the European continent. It's also located on the Black Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. Okay? So, there's a little bridge that connects both Europe and Asia. There is no other place except for a straight up landmass over here that connects it. This is the fastest way to get to the Silk Road. This is the fastest way to move goods, is via Constantinople. So Constantinople is going to be the wealthiest city in the world. It is going to be a major beacon, and that's what's going to keep the Eastern Empire afloat for about an additional 250 years. All right, that's your map, guys. You got a minute to color it in. But color quickly so you can get it done. It doesn't have to be perfect. Color quick. Max, color it and get it done, sweetie. That way you don't have to do it later. Alright. Now, if you're looking at your map, what two religions are going to be the most widely spread along the Silk Road? There you go. Which religion is isolated in its region? Hinduism. There you go. Okay, what is going to be the most popular religion in Europe? Christianity. There you go. What's going to be the most popular religion in China? Buddhism.
Why did Buddhism spread while Hinduism did not?
Hinduism, because the moment you join Hinduism, you're put into a caste. And if you're going to be new to a religion, you think you're going to have a good position or a bad position? Bad position. So why would you open yourself up for a bad social standing in a new religion? You wouldn't. It's not really well adopted. It's also very, very complicated. And it also has a lot of, because of its dependence on the caste system, it dictates the trade, it dictates everything. So people are like, I'd rather not deal with this. So religions like Jainism, Confucianism, is going to, and Buddhism are going to be created in rejection of that. You've got 30 seconds. And then we are shifting. Holy hell, secretary. Look at all this stuff. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, put it away. We're done. Put away your supplies. Take out a piece of notebook paper. We are going with notes. You need this more than you need to color that map, I promise you. Okay, we've got a lot of religions. We've got a lot of people coming at you. So let's do it. Everybody should have a piece of notebook paper out. Let's do it. Alright, here we go. So, first we're going to start with the Mauryan Empire. Now the Mauryan Empire is going to be created after Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great marches all the way over, gets to India, his army mutinies. With the mutiny of his army, okay, he's like, damn it, alright, we're done here. So they stop conquering territory. Then Alexander's like, alright, I'm going to go visit some of my former territories. Once he's on his way back, he dies. Once his territory is up, okay, up for grabs, a guy named Chandragupta Maurya is going to come in, and he is going to take over the landmass territory in India. Okay, now, it is important to note, please listen. Do not get ahead of me. I haven't started my notes on my board yet. Please stop and listen. Stop and look. Hi. Look at me. Okay, so, in between empires, India, so we have the Mauryan Empire, which is the first major empire in India. Okay, Mauryan's going to rise, then it falls, because every empire rises and falls, and then it shatters into like 1,000 kingdoms. Okay? Every time an empire rises, so one unified power, it's going to be one unified ruler. When it falls, it shatters into 1,000 kingdoms. That's the charm about India. Everyone wants to be a prince in India, so as soon as the empire is done, everyone tries to be a prince. Okay? So, the rise of an empire, the fall of an empire falls to kingdoms, then another empire rises, and then that falls, and it shatters to kingdoms. It'll do this all the way until period 6. So, the faster you get some of this stuff, India is very, very consistent, just like China. They do a lot of the same things over and over again. They rise in an empire and they fall into kingdoms. They rise into an empire and fall into kingdoms. The faster you get this now, the easier life is going to be later. Okay, so the first major Indian kingdom you don't really need to know that much about is the kingdom of Magadha. Okay, they are going to take over immediately after Alexander the Great. However, it is a guy named Chandragupta Maurya who is going to come in and take over that kingdom of Magadha, and he is going to unify India for the first time. So if you look on my board, Chandragupta Maurya, make sure you have the spelling right because it does get a little weird. Takes power post Alex G. Who's Alex G?
Alexander the Great.
There you go. Okay, he's the first to unify Indian Empire, and he creates this new government structure, which we'll get to here in a second. Take a look at my board, guys. I have simplified everything for you. At some point, you will have to do it yourself, but right now, I'm really holding your hand. Okay, so Chandragupta is known for his government. Now keep in mind, before Alexander the Great took over, who was in control of this area? What major empire?
Arguments.
The who? No, the Aryans are gone because that's period 1. Who came over and controlled a bunch of this territory, Aiden? Persians. Now the Persians are known for their government structures and their roads. So the Persians have been in this territory for a couple hundred years to this point. So Chandragupta takes what the Persians do and do it a little bit differently. Because of that, he becomes incredibly famous for. Now Chandragupta Maurya creates a new government structure, and the guy who's leading it is Katuya. Katalia? I don't know. How would you say that?
Wait, led by
Yeah.
Katuya.
That wasn't that horribly wrong. All right. So, he's going to lead it. He's his number 2 in command. Now, his number 2, Katoya, is in such a good place, okay, that he eventually steps down from power to become a monk. Isn't that cool? Yes, ma'am. You are more than welcome at any time, my darling. Okay? So, Chandragupta, he is known for his government, okay, is led by a guy named Katuya. Because he's so successful and the guy's so competent, Chandragupta's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm just going to go pray and starve myself. And then he died of starvation. Okay? They do write the book of, how would you say it, Miss Patel?
Untitled Chapter.
Yeah, not coming out of my mouth. And that will be the foundation of your government, of your Indian governments from here on out. So the big things you need to know about Chandragupta Maurya: takes power post Alex G. First unified Indian empire. Its government structure is led by Katuya. This book is the, whatever that really pretty word is, foundation of Indian government. And Chandragupta becomes a monk and dies. Okay, so that's all you need to know about Chandragupta. Now you have Ashoka. Now Ashoka is a very big deal. He is the most important of the Mauryan leaders. Now Chandragupta, no, I'm so just kidding. Ashoka is the grandson of Chandragupta Maurya. He is the most important ruler, and he is the classical man. What that means is that he is responsible for the high art, high culture, all of those different types of things. Because of him, we have a lot more art, we have a lot more architecture, all those different types of things. He is the Augustus of India. Does that make sense? Hello?
Yes.
Alright. So, he's a very tolerant leader, and the people absolutely love him. They love him so much, they throw him a huge burial service, and they make this super ornate burial, and it puts the whole government in economic chaos, and eventually the empire falls. So they loved him so much, they ended their empire for him. So, okay, so the fall of the Mauryans. Now, Ashoka is going to be, after Ashoka dies, there's an economic crisis. Money is not being spent well. Also, another major unique thing, taxes are not funding the military. Isn't that the strangest thing? Taxes aren't funding the military, and that causes a huge economic drain. Remember, they are a military. They do conquer some territory, obviously not as much as the Maurya. Obviously not as much as Chandragupta did, but they are still conquering territory. And bureaucracy is expensive. That's what that says. I couldn't really figure out how to spell it, so I just kind of smushed everything together, pretending maybe you wouldn't notice. So bureaucracy is expensive. When you have positions on positions on positions of government officials, it costs a lot of money. So, two big names you need to know are Chandragupta Maurya and Ashoka. You should also know Katuya. I'm pretty sure that's a test question, to be quite honest. And Ashoka is the most important of the Mauryan leaders. He's going to usher in the classical age. There you go. Mauryans are gone. Did you enjoy the Mauryans? No?
They're pretty cool.
They're pretty cool. Are you ready? Alright. So, like I said, hold on, you don't need to write this down. So, an empire rises, an empire falls into kingdoms. And the kingdom of Bactria, they are going to kind of go back to their Hellenistic ways post Alexander the Great. They're going to be like, oh my god, this whole India thing is not really working for me. I want to be Hellenistic again. So they try doing that. Okay, doesn't really go. Then we have the kingdom of Kush. The kingdom of Kush is really just focusing on trade. Okay, they're just kind of hanging out. Yes.
What were the leaders that
Of who?
of the Maurya?
Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka are your two big ones you have to know. And then you should know Kautilya, Kautalya. He's the buddy. Okay, so the Mauryans rise, the Mauryans fall into kingdoms, and then you have the Gupta. Now the Gupta Empire is started by Chandragupta. I pause there so you know there's a gap. Chandragupta. Isn't it nice? Apparently there's a difference. I can't tell you the difference. Say them both differently,
Okay,
please.
Chandragupta Maurya, and then there's Chandragupta. If you want to make it Americanized, Chandra. But it's Chandra, which is really hard to say, I know.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
not
these
cool.
vowels are slurred. It's really bad. Just
It's
yeah.
pretty.
What?
It's pretty.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's weird. It's also jacked up.
Alright, so the Gupta Empire is going to be created by Chandragupta, who is the founder. There's no relation to the Mauryan Empire. It's completely decentralized in a much smaller kingdom, as you know. Remember, it's just along the rivers. They're known for their math and their science. They're intellectuals, not military might. Next to math, I have parentheses 0. That's where their major discovery is. However, it's the Aryans, not the Aryans, it's the Arabians who are going to steal it from them. And then they're the ones who are going to make it super famous. Okay, so that is all. So the fall of the Gupta is going to happen with the White Huns. Now, you've probably seen the movie Mulan. Yes? Mulan is period 5 or period 2. The Huns in Mulan are not the Huns of the Gupta. Now, Huns is a term used for people of Central Chinese descent. Okay, so anyone who lives in Central China, today we call them Mongolians, but traditionally they're called Huns. It's a much bigger region. Okay, the Huns that are going to go after Mulan, but she's going to teach them a lesson, not to do a spoiler alert for you. Those are going to be Attila the Hun, which is much further along, much further north. These are the White Huns. They're in southern China, which makes sense why they push it into India, and they are going to invade the Gupta. Okay? So make sure you're differentiating that. Once the Gupta falls, it falls into kingdoms, and that's how India is going to be left. Okay? So the Gupta, all you need to know is Chandragupta. They do math and science, specifically the 0, and that's them. Did we enjoy the Gupta?
Yes.
Okay.
Not as much as the Mauryan.
The what?
I like the other ones better.
Mauryan's. I like the Mauryan's. Alright, here we go. Alright, so big things you need to know is that Indian trade. You do need to know India is going to be included in trade all the way up to now. They're a huge trade position today. They've always been because of their location between the Middle East and, of course, China. Now, Indian trade, you need to understand that the Persian influence starts India trade. Because India was conquered by the Persians, okay, they are going to get included into the trade, and that is going to lay their foundation. Major economic focus of India is trade. They have a lot of stuff, they trade it. They're not building stuff specifically, they are traders, okay? Now, it is important to know India has access to the Silk Road and Indian Ocean trade. Period 2, please stop and look at me for 2 seconds. Period 2 is the first time we have oversea trade, which means people in the Mediterranean are trading across the Mediterranean, remember? The Greeks have policies all around, all that trade is coming back. Same thing's starting to happen in the Indian Ocean trade. You need to understand that trade is happening all throughout every period. So we're in period 2 right now. Trade looks different and you have to be able to explain. I guarantee you, one of your long essays, whether it's the DBQ or your long essay, is going to be on trade. And it's going to have you compare and contrast. What are the similarities and differences between period 2 trade and period, say, 5? And you have to say, well, during period 2, it was mostly run by the Indians, and they were the discovery of the wind pattern of the Indian Ocean was a huge transformation of trade. They are moving religions back and forth across the blah, blah, blah. Yes? You have to understand how it goes. So every single period, there'll be a Silk Road week. And that's what we'll be talking about is trade. Okay? So please make sure you are paying attention to what makes period 2 Silk Road trade unique. Okay? India's access to Silk Road and Indian Ocean trade. Okay? Now, roads, the Persians have been here, so the Persians are building roads, of course, here. Alexander the Great is here, so we have a lot of Greek influence that's there. All of these things are going to come together to shape this new thing. Now, trade on the Indian Ocean Basin. Indian Ocean Basin is the Indian Ocean, and all the seas, the Persian Gulf, the Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, that's the Indian Ocean Basin. Now, the biggest thing that is going to be discovered during period 2 in regards to Indian Ocean Basin is wind direction. Twice a year, the winds change direction. And spring to winter winds blow southwest. Okay, fall winter winds blow from northwest. To you and I, it seems like, okay, who the hell cares about this? It transforms trade. All of a sudden now, India is now trading with Africa. All of a sudden now, Africans are now trading with the Indians because now they understand how the wind pattern works. It's a big deal. It opens up trade. Have you ever tried sailing against the wind? It's awful and you go nowhere and you just like sit down because there's no point, correct? It's awful. Okay? With them understanding how the patterns work, it makes everything a lot easier. Alright, I'll give you a second to get caught up to me. Now this wind pattern is going to come up. On your midterm, there's actually a couple questions on it. On the wind pattern and stuff like that. So the faster you get it to memory, I guess the easier your life's going to be. Alright, you ready? Three, 2, 1. Okay, so what you need to know about India. India is very much like China. Things stay very much the same. India is a patriarchal state. We still have issues with it. I think about 6 months at this point, they had a bunch of honor killings. Okay, in order to regain the family's honor by killing the sisters. Teach them a lesson. Okay? So, patriarchy is incredibly entrenched. It's a big deal. Everything in India, not so much today because it's technically been illegal since the 1970s, but it's still very much in place, is the caste system. The caste system regulates every single aspect of society, especially period 2, 3, 4, and 5. The caste system dictates where you live, who you talk to, what school you go to, what job you have, what type of clothes you wear. It dictates what type of food you eat. It dictates every single component of society. Okay? So, the caste system, which you should know because I told you to memorize. I am not writing it down because you said you would learn it, right? The Brahmins are at the top. The warriors are the next stage. Okay? And then you have your peasants, your merchants, and your Shudras. Now, these are your castes. Okay? Caste means your major topic. What are your subcastes called? What do you got, Dean?
Jati.
Jati. Now, inside of a caste, you have Jati. So let's say Cheyenne is in the Brahmin caste. Okay? And I am a warrior, and I'm like, oh my God, Cheyenne, like, don't look at her directly in the eyes, you know. Whatever she wants, she gets to make the decision, all those different types of things. So, because I'm in a lower caste to her, she automatically gets whatever she wants, and I have to do whatever I can to help her. Does that make sense? Now, inside of her Brahmin caste, okay, we have Sophia. Okay, and Sophia is two jatis above Cheyenne. So although Cheyenne is in the best caste, okay, she's still subordinate to everyone in the jati ahead of her. So even if you're in the best caste, is it the greatest thing on earth? No, everything is being ranked, everything is being specifically manipulated, everything has a pro and a con. The caste system is very, very restrictive. Now, if you were in India, do you think you'd like the caste system?
Depends where you are in the caste system.
Even on your top tiers, you're not going to be that thrilled because there's always a lot of people ahead of you and people will happily put you in your place. And what is the worst thing in the world when people put you in your place, correct? Like, you're not that big of a deal and say all that kind of crap and you're like,
Well, if you're at the very top.
Okay, so there's like 4 people up there, so good for those 4. For the rest of us poor schmucks, we're not going to like the caste system. So, people start rejecting this caste system, and that is when we start having religions that are going to start popping up, looking to transform India from a caste-based society into a more pro-people situation. So, the first one is Jainism. Now, Jainism was started by a guy named Vardhama.
I'm not gonna.
Okay, I'm not trying to be offensive. I hope
no,
you
you don't have to be offensive. I just, it's just too much.
There's a lot of vowels in that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So Vardhama, okay. He is the founder of it. He believes money is not important, place, society is not important. Okay. He believes selflessness is key, that you should care more about others than you do yourself. One of the biggest things about Jainism that makes it incredibly unique is the idea of extreme nonviolence. These are the people who walk around with feathers to brush away bugs away from their feet so they don't kill the bugs. They refuse to kill bugs.
They don't eat any onion or garlic either.
No, why?
Because they don't eat anything that comes from the ground because it's too, like, they feel like it's God didn't intend for it to be that way. So they're very spiritual, that kind of way. They just don't eat onion or garlic. So everything, like...
Anything from a tree is good, though.
Potatoes, carrots.
Yeah, they don't eat potatoes either.
Carrots.
Weird, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
They eat food. They just don't eat that.
Have a good day.